To like what's been happening in the area that sort of precipitated folks getting together to say, look, we need to do something to kind of address these issues.
We held community meetings, and we asked, the parents who came to the meetings what they wanted to see in the future as far as like taking action to make this a safer neighborhood. So when we got a small group of about 10 people involved, and we were just coming up with different strategies. One of the things that we talked about doing was, like, first we started with a community cleanup, and then there was also a group of people that were covering graffiti marks, and people were talking about how their kids were being intimidated in school into joining gangs. And so then we created a youth group, like a support group for those kids, and we started visiting parents and asking them, about those things. And many of the residents said, like, a lot of the parents are in gangs. And also because of family extensions, is like sometimes they're afraid to call the authorities if something is going on. So that's one of the biggest challenges, is getting people to speak or call the police. A lot of people are afraid that if they call the police, they'll call attention to themselves. And so one of the other things that we did, we held a meeting where we had a former gang member, and we also had the community police officer, and he spoke about, like, the hours that the kids could be out in the street. And then also one of their strategies was that even if you're not in a gang and you're hanging out with gang members, known gang members, that you could get picked up as well. So that was one of the things that we spoke about to the children, like, if you don't want to get in trouble, then stay away from some of these characters. And then more recently we had some shootings in the area, specifically one on last Friday here in front of La Taqueria Cuñado, and we called a meeting, and we just said, well, that's enough. I think 2 or 3 people were injured in that week, and there was also a drive-by on a bicycle, which was something that was a new thing in the area. And so we got together with some of the people from the Hispanic Center, from Link, and the Neighborhood Association, and we asked ourselves, what should we do? And we decided to have this walk. And then we're also going to speak a little bit about block captains, and just having some strategies in place for when these things happen again, that we have some plan.
Sure. I mean, this is not necessarily an easy question, but I mean, to what degree has it's not a secret that this southwest part of the city is one of the more economically impoverished in the city. I mean, how much does those economic conditions of low income or unemployment contribute to, you think, a climate where maybe violence is what people use to deal with?
Well, it's an interesting time to ask that question, because for us, a lot of the parents say, we see that our children think they don't have a future, they can't get into school. So we brought a list of schools where they don't ask for documentation. Of course, it's hard to get that information out in a mass scale, but there are options that are actually kind of hard to find on the internet. The resources are there, but it's kind of difficult to disseminate that. And also, a lot of people believe the word on the street. There's like no future. So I think that the gangs offer some kind of security for or a family structure, and I think that that's a big thing that happens here, is that we also have parents that have 2 or 3 jobs sometimes, so we find a lot of children are alone at home or taking care of other children, and that could relate to that question. I mean, when the parents are away working 80 hours in a week, that there's a lot of empty homes, nobody watching the kids.
Right.